so much for being here, Tess.
My pleasure.
That's great. So first of all, let me ask you, as iGaming continues to grow, especially in emerging markets like LATAM, how does cybersecurity risks evolve? And what are the most critical threats that are needed to be addressed right now?
Well, I think that cybersecurity goes much farther than iGaming. The truth is that is a number one topic in board's agenda all over the world, and it should be because it's in fact is the highest risk that we all, collectively are undertaking right now. It's incredible how cyber attacks are really undermining the continuity of the business in general. And obviously, iGaming is not, it's also part of this ecosystem. So it's extremely important to consider cybersecurity as a must. I always say that compliance and certification are necessary evil or are seen as necessary evil, and that this afternoon in my panel I will definitely explain why it's not. But cybersecurity is really a must for in the industry. So it's extremely important that in Brazil, especially now that there are so many American and European companies making acquisition, that the Brazilian companies are becoming more kind of compliant in terms of cybersecurity.
Yeah, because it's our protective systems in Brazil are not quite as strong, are they? Would you say that? I mean,
I think that cybersecurity measures have not really got the attention they had to. That's what I hear around.
yes.
And that's what European companies and American companies have told me during due diligence process that they are going through right now, with the aim of acquiring a Brazilian company. So it's extremely important that not just the gaming certification gets attention, but really all what cyber security. In fact, in Europe, we have new directives and we have new standards. And in the next year or so, all the companies will have to adopt those standards. Otherwise, we will be out of business.
And do you think those standards will transfer through to Brazil, to LATAM?
Well, I guess that it's a matter of time. Whatever happens in Europe, then will go to America or vice versa. We know, depending on which industry we are relating to. But definitely at some point, Latin America in general, not just Brazil, will have to start adopting certain, standards. Will be exactly the same as in Europe. Probably not. America will be different as well, but definitely that's the where we need to go.
Yes.
All together.
Yes, yes, great. And with the Latin American market becoming a key focus for many iGaming companies, how can robust cybersecurity practices ensure smoother market entry and long-term success for operators?
Well, I think one of the biggest mistake I have personally seen worldwide, so not just in Latin America and in Brazil, is that company believe to be extremely secure, to have everything in place and that nothing will occur to them. That's a big mistake because everything will occur to everybody. Okay, it's not. Um, it's not. It's about when. Okay, we have a lot of obviously technologies available, and definitely it's important to understand what we need to protect our corporations. But what is really essential, I would say, is to detect the intrusion timely. That's really what matters and what make the difference. Because if they want to intrude in our system, they will. Now, if you are going to detect them 3 months later, the damage is going to be much bigger than if you detect them 1 week later or 2 days later. So I always like to refer to cyber defense rather than cybersecurity. Security is how many lockers shall I put on my doors? Defense is, okay, if someone gets into my house, how quick I'm going to be able to defend myself and just make sure that the intruder goes away.
That's a great way of putting it, actually. Really great. So, moving on then, how does the integration of advanced cybersecurity measures enhance the player experience, particularly in terms of trust, safety, and compliance in a high growth market such as Brazil?
Well, I think this is part of the educational, um, let's say, path that we, as part of the gaming industry ecosystem, have a responsibility on, right? So the player tends not to think, oh, is this platform or is this game or is the system certified or compliant, or do they have a cybersecurity system in place? Will I be protected? The player tends not to, okay? But it's a mistake because at the end of the day, we as industry players, we have the obligation to protect our player. That's basically one of our main tasks, I would say. So, cybersecurity, like certification and compliance, must be part of an educational program, and actually is one of the reasons why at the BMM group we have kind of created this division called RG24 7, and it's a training platform where we have content about responsible gaming, cybersecurity, anti-money laundering, human trafficking. And we really hand over this content, which can also be customized to regulators, to operators, and to B2B providers so that they can really learn how to educate the players as well.
Because actually, in a way, that kind of education needs to come from a regulatory board rather than the companies selling the games themselves. Because I'm not a gamer, but I would imagine you go to buy a product and you have a big sign saying, beware, the following could happen. It's not a great sales pitch, is it? So it's a difficult balance to play.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the line is very thin.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously we're here. We are all here to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's we're not here for non-profit purposes, right? But at the end, I think with all the technology and all the ways we have at our disposal to educate, there are tons of things that we can do all together. Now, there's no point if just the regulator is focusing something and then all other components of the supply chain are ignoring it. Is a common effort. That's what I always try to promote. It's important that we educate, and it's a matter of time. You know, the player in Brazil, especially, is now facing a new world. You know, they are just discovering so many other way of playing so slowly, but definitely the Brazilian regulator through the portaria about the jogo responsável is probably one of, I would say, the fewest regulators in the world that have really made the responsible gaming part of the regulation.
That's great.
Which is an extremely, I think, I really praise the regulator for doing so. It's very important. So I would say that we need to continue all together to promote the fact that even the player, which is the last end of the supply chain, is really aware of how important it is to have a platform or a game certified, how important it is that the company is protected from a cybersecurity aspect, because it's not just the continuity of their business, but it's the data of the player that is at risk.
You're allowing somebody to enter your computer
Exactly.
where you do your banking, where God knows what else you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, um, looking ahead, what emerging technologies do you see as as game changers for security, cybersecurity matters, and how will they shape the industry in both developed and emerging nations?
Well, definitely, I'm not a technical person, but what I can see is that artificial intelligence is dominant. It's dominant in cybersecurity, in the development of games and platforms and everything. Actually, it's it's happening. It's happening now. New generation will adapt easier to that. We probably take a little bit longer to accept this. In fact, our partner Cerebro, so it's basically our SOC that we are distributed through Big Cyber, which is the other division of BMM, is the new version of Cerebro, has been developed in conjunction with Google, and artificial intelligence is basically dominant in the development of how we detect intrusion and on the remediation side as well. So detection and remediation are crucial, and the AI is definitely changing everything, everything.
Yeah, because it must make things much more complex. I mean, it must make if for example, if potential systems that are attacking games are running on AI,
Yeah.
you have to employ.
Well, even the threat actors that are, attacking us are definitely evolving, and actually, probably they're even better than we are at this. So we cannot just not to evolve and develop at the same speed. So AI will dominate the world in cybersecurity, in gaming, and everything. That's the reality. So it's going to be a big change in the next 5 years. Probably the biggest change that we ever witnessed, at least at our age.
Yeah. And do you think, just one last thing, do you think cybersecurity industry is ready for that?
Well, the big actors in cybersecurity, and I'm talking about the big fours as well, are investing a big, huge amount of money in cybersecurity. There will be a scarcity of resources in cybersecurity. So it's going to be a hot topic for the next years for sure. So that's why the big group is really investing a lot in this part of the technology, if you want. And it's what we're doing is really trying to customize our cyber solutions or services for the gaming industry, and we are committing really to make sure that there is a level of customization to make sure that we meet the industry requirements.